guys, this is my fastest quad. I'm sure you guys will like this stuff because, 3D is something that not many people do. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do it, but it's also what are you gonna build? You're not gonna build a 500 euro or $500 quad to fly 3D line of sight because, it's really expensive to crash, and especially if you're just learning. You're not going to crash a quad every day that costs 500 euros because you'll be buying frames and ESCs and flight controllers and you'll be spending way too much money. But this quad, built as is, can be bought for like 100 euros. And this, it's very light. And that means that it has a lot of, when it crashes, it doesn't break. This is really thick carbon fiber. It is, very simple battery. The battery just, when you crash hard, the battery just flies out. Your props will break. These motors are high quality. They won't bend. You will just buy some new props, put them on, maybe throw on a new canopy. The flight board, the flight controller is just, it's 10 euros, and it's also your receiver. So a lot of savings when doing this. You can practice your soldering, you can practice your computing. You have to do some programming, like very simple programming, just adjusting settings and stuff like that. You can start flashing your own chips and flashing your ESCs, and that's a lot of fun. That's the stuff that comes in very handy when you're building your first real quad. This was my my small quad, my cheap quad, and this is what I learned everything from. So that's why this build is a lot of fun. It's acro. It's built with an H101 Florian FC flight controller. It's running some pretty cool Silver X firmware. You can find this on RC groups. Silver X has created like a flashable firmware that you can download for free. You can turn it into a brushless quad. That's what I did here. I really went with like the red and black color scheme for this one. My flight is like every day, 8 batteries at least. It's so much fun. I mean, this thing can do all kinds of things. It can do 3D. So it can go this way, but also it can go this way. So it can prop reverse really quickly. It's really easy to flash. It's safe to flash. You grab yourself a small LiPo. You grab it. You put it in. The ST-Link USB stick, and your new PID settings or anything that you want to update. What did I do? So I lost. This is a Gap RC 130 without the little camera pod. It does use the power distribution board. It is using the power distribution board that came with it. Also this very nice high quality XT60 connector that came with it. It's rocking some XM20 Beal Heli ESCs. They're from DYS. These motors, I mean, these really scream. Like they're 4000 kV. They have 400 grams of thrust per motor. This quad only weighs 122 grams as it is right now. It's kind of heavy, but it's also unbreakable. I mean, it should have only come with like 2mm carbon fiber, but this is like 3mm carbon fiber, and it's really nice and high quality carbon fiber as well. I'm using some improvised battery straps from silicon tubing. That might not be available for you, but I mean, I had it laying around. It's in printers. Like if you take a printer apart, you can find this tubing. And because I wanted to reinforce my XT60 with hot glue, I decided to use this. Because normally your battery strap would like go around here or something. I don't know why these slots are in the middle, because you really can't use any battery with just such a small gap. It would be dangling way beneath the quadcopter, and you want to be really compact for quick action, for quick and maneuverable flight. So why did I choose this flight controller? Why did you use Silver X instead of like SP Racing F3 or anything similar. Well, the great thing about this flight controller is that it has a receiver that comes with it. And I already had built myself a Devo 7E. And my Devo has 800 meters of range with this setup. The Bayang protocol that this flight controller is using is more than capable of controlling this very good, very nice. And because I can set custom PIDs in the SilverX firmware, and I can adjust anything I want, and it's all written in C code. I don't know anything about C code, but still the interface is made in a way that it's still really easy for me to adjust things. And this is really nice. So I've built myself an indestructible, really fast, I think it hits at least 80 kilometers per hour, like 50, 55 miles per hour. And this flies so nice. I mean, I've installed these really nice light prop nuts that I got from a Hobby King, and these motors I got from GearBest, I think. And they're really high quality. They're the Emax 1306 4000 kV. So with the 4S batteries that I'm using, and I'm using like the really heavy batteries, I'm using 1000 milliamp hour batteries on a 3-inch quad, and it rocks. It's so fast and so maneuverable. But at the same time, because my PIDs allow me, they're not that sensitive, I can also install a 3S battery, like an 800 milliamp 3S battery. They're much lighter, and that way I can also fly a bit slower, but I mean the battery is lighter, so I can be more maneuverable. So this is a very nice line of sight flying super fast quad. And what I like so much about line of sight is that you're really in control of where you are, and it's also safe, you know. When people walk up to me and I'm flying line of sight, they're like, oh, nice, man. But if you're sitting around with your goggles on, and you know, people don't know what you're doing, especially old people here around, you know, it's kind of stigmatizing. And you know, when you're flying on somebody's property, they will be often inclined to let you fly there, because you know, it's kind of weird to have somebody using goggles and a camera, and you know, the whole privacy thing comes in. Nobody likes that. So I often take this quad and I'm flying around, and people, you know, watch and they really like it. You know, I'm doing some crazy 3D stuff, and I'm really showing off, you know, and it's going pretty fast, but it doesn't look that dangerous, because when I, you know, I put it in their hands and they're like, oh man, that's so light. That's like, yeah, I'm like, whoa, that's only 100 grams. Yeah. Oh, so, you know, that's not dangerous. I mean, of course it's dangerous. I mean, but I'm not going to fly into people. I'm not going to be irresponsible or anything. I'm not going to fly in somebody's property that doesn't want me to be there. I always communicate very well with the people that are around, and I really like to, you know, be civil and to be responsible for what I'm doing. So this quad, I mean, it has a good failsafe, so whenever I lose power to my transmitter or anything stupid happens, power drops down, it falls on the ground. This quad will be hard to find, but I have so little problems with it that I've been flying it for a month now, and it's been just a lot of fun. I mean, it's so fast. You know, the video that is, you know, in my intro, it's this quad, and I mean, it's so fast. I mean, when I show this thing to people and I show how much power this thing has, they're often like, what the hell? I mean, that's insane, you know? I mean, there's brush quads around that are this size, and this only has 3-inch props. I'm actually looking into some larger props, because, you know, I still have some space around and everything's really nice and low. But also the 3D. I mean, have you ever tried to fly 3D? I'm coming from like RC helicopters, and I only got one, you know, like a very cheap one, the V977. It's not really that cheap, but it's really nice because it's, you know, 3D capable. It has some really interesting features. But, you know, I've then used brush squads to fly inverted, and that really helped me a lot, because, you know, when the first time is that you like fly up, tumble over, and throttle down and throttle up, but in reverse, you'll be like, huh, what way am I moving? You know, which direction am I going? Especially from a line of sight view, it will be so weird because you know your stick inputs will be all reversed, and especially because you know when you reverse like this, um, your stick inputs will be different than when you reverse like this. So what I'm doing right now is like I'm reversing over like this, and you know just to remember every action and every flip, and every stick input. You know, I want to be able to fly in all directions. Like when I go like that, I want my brains to be able to remember what my sticks have to do to be able to flip like that. And that's really fun. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes people use things to keep their brains, you know, up to speed. I'm using this because this is like when you get up in the morning, you grab your quad and you do some inverted FPV, inverted line of sight flying, you'll be awake. I mean, this is really, you know, especially if you're just beginning with 3D stuff, it will be really like, I mean, it will get your adrenaline pumping, like to be hovering pretty low to the ground and then like flying up fast and flying around 80 kilometers per hour in your backyard or something. I mean, that's really crazy, but it's a lot of fun. So, and I would just recommend this. These are really high-speed XM DYS ESCs. They can really handle the ER RPM from these motors. I mean, the smaller your motor and the lighter the load, the higher ERPM you need. And right there is like the small buck converter. You can find this on GearBest, the Gap RC 130 frame. It will come with that little thing. It fits really nicely underneath my H101 flight controller. Okay, so then we have a layer of foam. There's a small layer of foam that's providing me some dampening from the motor, so I can run with a broken prop or like you know, when something is out of sync or something, it won't like destroy the gyros on my flight controller. And then there, right on top of that, there's the flight controller, and I kept all wiring as short as possible. I've ran everything. That's pretty much how it's built up. For the flight controller, for the H101 itself, you have to go to RC groups and specifically look for the Sir Damson Wiki Station. It's like a collection of all the mods that are possible with these cheap $10 quads. I would specifically go for the Florian because it has more N-channel MOSFETs. These MOSFETs can be used to drive motors in reverse. One thing I want to show you is how much force this thing is putting out. So I'm gonna power up my quad right here. I mean, it's a really small quad, so I can hold it in my hand. So this is what I mean with flying large batteries. This is a 65C graphene battery, 1000 milliamp hours. I mean, this would be a pretty short flight on like a, you know, like a 5-inch quad, more suitable for 4-inch quads. But I mean, it weighs a lot, but it works. It's crazy. So here we go. You install the battery like this, and now it's simply plugging in, powering on, and it will arm itself, and you can fly. And this thing right now is weighing about 250 grams, so that's pretty heavy. This is a heavy battery, and I'm normally using lighter batteries. Like I really like the 850 milliamp hour Bolt battery, the Bolt High Volt. This has a lot of punch. It's almost hard to follow it with your eyes. Like when I'm flying with people, they're like, whoa, where is it? You know, I can't follow it. How do you do that? And I'm like, yeah, well, just 1 year of experience and just flying a few times a week will get you there. So this is how it sits. It looks really mean from the front as well. This is for dampening, so when I have a hard landing or a crash, this will dampen the impact. That was just the ESCs, you know, not receiving any signal from the flight controller, and they just spin up all of a sudden because they are already armed. So that was like a false throttle signal input. This is now it's armed. So with this enabled, negative throttle would be negative thrust, and this is just enabling the motors. So right now it's an upward thrust, but when I switch this one, it would enable 3D thrust. You can see that all motors spin up at the same time really nicely, and you can hear a bit of a beep because, you know, this small little chip is working at 4 kilohertz, I think, and yeah, it's a signal that you can actually hear. But I mean, this thing has so much power that if I would reverse it right now, I would blow the camera off my stand, and I'm probably not going to do that. I'm just going to show you upward thrust. I'm not sure if you can see this on video that well, but it's pretty crazy. So this whole range here on my stick, I'm not sure if you can see that, but this is all like no power, and I use that because, you know, normally right there would be negative thrust, and if I switch normally that would be throttle up on a helicopter, you would use that for negative thrust. It's in full acro mode, so like there's no horizon mode on this enabled right now. I have a switch for that. I have this trim switch set up for horizon, and that also works really nice. So when I'm doing a stunt, let's say I'm pyro flipping, or, you know, I lose control during a crazy maneuver, I can just flip this switch really quickly, and it will go into horizon mode, and, you know, I'll be safe. You know, it just recovers really quickly. Make sure you're not in 3D throttle though, because, you know, it does weird things when you do that. Often it just crashes to the ground, so don't do that. But when you're just, you know, using it normally, it can be a lifesaver. So, okay, so this is going to be throttle off. Well, you could see how much power this thing has. I mean, it's really crazy. This is, of course, also the most badass battery that I have for this quad right now. Right now in the Netherlands, it's not that warm, and that has some really positive results on the motors because they don't get warm. So you can basically do like a throttle punch for a few seconds, and then, you know, brake really hard, and then go again with really heavy batteries on 4S, and they still don't get warm. During the summer when it was 30 degrees here, it was kind of difficult to do that, but for right now this worked really nice. So I mean, all the way up to here there's like no throttle increase, but this last part is where it gets really powerful, and especially, you know, full power, this thing is, you know, it's almost hard to hold on to. It's like almost 1.8 kilograms of force, and it's more than enough to lift this battery off the ground. It still has a really nice power to weight ratio with this heavy battery. I still recommend smaller though. Like if you have a 500 milliamp battery, that would be bad, because, you know, you would be pulling too many amps and your battery would just get warm. Even if you have a graphene battery, don't even try, because, you know, these motors will pull like 15 amps, and you know, 4 times 15 is way too much for that small size of battery. So go with something like 850 milliamps, or go with the 3S, because 4000 kV motors are really capable on 3S as well. And with the weight saving, you'll be almost as fast, but it's not as fun, because I think 4S on this size is just amazing. So I'm now going to show you just a bit like the motor reverse. So I go up to center throttle, and I flip the switch, and when I go down now, you see the motor stop for a second, maybe not even for a second, but like really quickly, but you hear a different sound, and it just reverses like that. And when you do this in the air, you will be able to do like all kinds of sick maneuvers. Suddenly switching to inverted thrust will be a lot of fun. And you know, even if you can't hover inverted, it will be fun to do, because if you do a flip and you go reverse really quickly and you recover nicely, um, and then go back, then you can have like a really different kind of feel. Like normally you would go up, flip, and then go down again, but this time you can go up, flip, go up, flip, go up, go up, go up, and stuff like that. So it's like totally different from a normal quad. It's a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I'll be using FPV with this ever, because I think it's just too much fun the way it is, and you know, keeping it light enables me to do the crazy stuff. And it's already kind of heavy because it has like a heavier frame than needed. It has a lot of, yeah, it's already a bit heavy. I wish it was like 99 grams or something, like 22 grams lighter, but as it is, it's really fun. So this is my switch off. There's no throttle on my motors anymore now. Now I can throttle down or power down the quad, and you know, everything's good. So yeah, it's really great. I would recommend building something simple and out of the ordinary like this any day of the week. You know, DIY hacking is where this hobby comes from, and yeah, this is something that, you know, people have done before, but to be able to go through that same experience as the people that developed all the software and is a lot of fun. So try this out for yourself. I got some build lists on our C groups as well in the SilverX thread, and built the same things as Sir Domson. If you see his name around on our C groups in the wiki, I will put some links in the description below. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, goodbye guys. This was my small introduction on my 3D quad. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so this is gonna be throttled off.